Sip Sip, how y'all doing? What's going on? Thanks for coming back to Sip Smoke and Share. Please hit the like button, make a comment, and subscribe to this channel, Sip Smoke and Share, where you get a glimpse into my life. But as I'm driving to a project, I was thinking about death and losing people. And so if you haven't experienced death, where everybody experiences death, it's just how we process it and how we deal with it. But I was at a function on Saturday, a family function. One of my little cousins, he was having a birthday, and got to see some people, my family, my cousins that I grew up with, and my family. We try to have gatherings. And while I was at the event, I got a call from one of my oldest cousin on my dad's side, and I was informed that one of our cousins had go ahead and passed on. And so as I thought about it, I'm here with family celebrating, and to get the call in the midst of a celebration, one of the youngsters is kind of, I processed it then for a minute, but I really didn't get to process all of it. But one of the things I would say is that losing somebody is a traumatic experience. It's an emotional time once you sit and process it. And I know a lot of times that people, when they lose people, they don't understand their feelings, or they have been taught a way to deal with their feelings which may not be healthy for them. But when we lose people that are close to us or not so close to us, or family or friends, there's a point where you have to process that information and those feelings, because they turn into other things, you understand, if not dealt with. So this message was to just say, hey, because I lost my mom, then I lost my dad, and then I lost my grandmother, and buried my grandmother the exact same day as I buried my mother a year earlier. So it's like, in 1 year to lose 3 people like that, it was very traumatic. It was very emotional time. I was up and down. I was on a downward spiral to some degree. I wasn't eating right, living right. You're just doing a lot of foolish stuff. But I was dealing with my emotions. But one of the things that helped me is that I went to therapy. I went to grief counseling with some ladies that I run with who had experienced the loss of somebody that they loved, cared about. And so grief counseling, I went the first time, and then I went a second time after my second loss, and it really helped me deal with things and kind of see some things and pinpoint some things, some trends, some opportunities for me to remove myself, or things I should look for, and help people, in talking to them about the loss, because people were like, man, you strong. I'm like, no, I'm not strong. It's just that I have some information, some good information that I can share, because for one of the things I share is that what they taught you in grief counseling is that, in grief, people will try to prioritize their level of grief. You understand what I'm saying? So say, for instance, person A loses a parent, right? This person loses a parent. Maybe they have some siblings. Maybe let's just say it's 3 of them. 3 siblings, and 4, the parent had 4 siblings. So the favorite child or the oldest child if they were the favorite, or the baby when they lost the parent. You know, sometimes we'll try to elevate and say, well, my loss, you know, or the uncle, you know, or the friend, you know, the best friend of the parent. You know, people would try to elevate their level of grief or their level of loss to a degree over yours. To be like, oh, well, this is my parent. You were just her friend or his friend. So your level of grief is like right here. Well, in actuality, they're equal. Why is that, you say? And this is what grief counseling taught me, is that because the one thing that y'all have in common is that y'all both lost somebody you love. Regardless of, is this your parent or your friend? You still love that person, you care about that person. So that's one of the things that grief counseling taught me, and I just wanted to leave y'all with that. That both people lost a friend, a parent, you know, so your level of hurt and pain does not trump my level of hurt and pain. So, and a lot of times, another thing that it has taught me, and you know, is that a lot of times people do not know what to say. You know, they don't know what to say, so they'll say something like, baby, it's okay to cry. You understand? I don't feel like crying. I done cried enough. You know, so what I would always tell people when I saw them, you know, I would just say, hey, it's okay. And I would take that burden off of them so we don't have this bullshit conversation about nothing or emotional whatever. So I would always take that away from them and say, hey, it's okay. Not knowing what to say. Your presence, your phone call, your being here says enough without you having to verbalize. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like I saw people at both my mother and my dad and my grand, you know, and just saying that to them kind of takes that pressure off of them. That they have to know what to say or how to say it. And then a lot of times I would say, hey, we don't have to say nothing. And I'm getting emotional now. We can just stand here and hug each other. So, shit. Yeah, this is getting emotional because I'm thinking about my mother and my dad. But it's all right. Thanks for coming to Sip, Smoke, and Share. Y'all have a good one. Oh, man. Leave me a like. Drop a comment. Subscribe. Share the video. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll put some more of the things that grief counseling taught me. But y'all have a good day. Sip, sip.